Do you feel like our marriage is purposeful?
Yes, I do.
What makes you feel that way?
Because we have a shared vision on what we want our life to look like, what we want our future to look like, who we want to be in the future. Like we have future paced so many things for what we want, and we talk about it constantly.
Yeah, we do.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Like from like the small things, like fitness, like how we want to look, how we want to present ourselves to the world, to like big things like traveling, and also like bigger things like impact. So we talk about this stuff all the time.
Literally.
Yes.
I ask because I feel like so many couples, one of the reasons why they struggle a bit is because their marriage isn't purposeful. And I feel like giving that a little bit more context, it doesn't mean that it has to be like some huge thing. Like it doesn't have to be some massive change the world type thing, but purposeful enough, to where it means enough to the two people in a marriage, and that is big enough to where it can continue to push them to be better and to grow more and to deepen their connection as they're progressing through that marriage and doing life together.
I agree. Baby, do like this, because you got, when we kissed, my lip gloss is like all up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Yep, we fixed that. We're gonna keep rolling. Anyway, but yeah, like that's how I be feeling though. You know what I mean? Because our marriage has been a hell of a journey for one.
Yes.
Like we've been through so many different things, but regardless of what we've gone through, we've always been chasing something together.
Yeah.
Be it something that we visualized in the future or even who it is that we ultimately want to become. No matter if it was like our career in the military, we was always, like future pacing what we were chasing and who we wanted to be, the impact we wanted to make in the military, how we were going to support each other in doing and pursuing that journey. All of that stuff. Like we've always been able to be present and in the moment, but also realizing that we've also had to be able to just support each other in the progression of what our marriage was becoming. And I feel like that's done a lot for us.
Yeah, I think to kind of dial it back a bit, I think it's very easy for us to look at our marriage now with the mindset that we have now, and it looked like everything was like strategic and it was so expansive from the beginning. Like it's easy to look at it from us now.
Yeah.
When in the years ago, that wasn't what it was.
Absolutely.
So I think it's very important to also make sure we're kind of like dialing it back and saying, okay, even in these moments, like, yeah, we had small goals we were pursuing. Like the impact that we want to make now was not the impact that we wanted to make before. Like we had different dreams, though we both were willing to support each other through those things.
Yeah.
Like,
and they were big to us then.
They were big to us then,
Yeah.
but like now it's like even bigger. So I think like sometimes we get lost in the who we are right now. And it's like, no, it wasn't as big back then, but it was still impactful in a way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because the thing about it is, it was still big and impactful and meaningful and all of those things based off of who we were at the time. Like, come on now, we were 21 when we got married.
Yeah.
So our ideas of big in that small life experience that we've had up to that point, like it seemed like a huge deal.
Yeah.
Like we didn't just want to be casual about who we were in the military and all of these things. And we also didn't know that the pursuit of what you were doing in school and how we were trying to grow in our careers and stuff like that, it doesn't seem as big to us now because of what we're chasing. But back then, they were huge deals. But we also were very intentional about including each other. Shoot, I remember even when I was considering going, warrant in the Army and doing all of these things, like when I started taking college classes, you would be up trying to help me with my math and stuff.
Oh my God. I had to learn math to help you with your stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And like putting packets together and doing all of these different things, just trying to advance ourselves. When I pursued being a personal trainer at one point, and you would let me test like little circuits on you and stuff. Like there was so many different things that were big to us back then that we would probably look at as small now. but we still had that same mentality of including each other,
Yeah.
chasing them down together, and just being a part of each other's journey.
Now that never wavered.
Right.
Like as far as that, like the inclusion, that never wavered at all. Though I do believe, like, if we keeping it 100, like, I don't think like everything we've done has been strategic.
Not at all.
In the pursuit of things. Sometimes we fell into things and we were figuring out things along the way. But we, even in the midst of like chaos and figuring things out, we kept each other included in the chaos and the figuring it out.
We
and
were
we
just
never
throwing crap at the wall.
Yeah, trying to figure out what exactly we wanted out of life. Because, like, let's be real. Like, we met at 18. We got married at 21. We didn't know what we was doing.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't know. Like, and I want to make sure we're not painting this picture like we some people who just had it figured out from the jump. Like, no, we just was okay with figuring it out together. And whatever that looked like. Literally. If it's chaotic, then we finna be chaotic together. We're gonna work through it. Like, if it's straight, like, if we figured it out, we just gonna keep working through it and finding something else we want to do. Like, we ain't perfect. And I want to make sure that picture, because, like, I'm, like, listening to the conversation, and I just want to make sure it's not painting a picture of perfection. No, or, like, we always have it figured out. And that's not the case. We have not always been strategic. And that's what I wanted to kind of clear up with. And I'm like, nah, bro, we ain't always had it together. We ain't always been intentional. Like, but we've always wanted to keep each other included, and we've always had the drive of wanting more. We have always wanted that, and we have always had that for sure. Even when we were just trying to figure out our way, it was always something calling us, saying like, think bigger, dream bigger. Do bigger things, you know, even if it was like a book we would read or somebody who would bump into you and say something to you, or leadership, or it was always that. It's like, no, like, we're meant to do something bigger than what we're doing right now.
I feel like we were intentional from the beginning. It's just like,
it depends on what you mean intentional about. Like,
course.
We were intentional about our marriage for sure, but I don't think we were always intentional about like how we went about things. I don't think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but our marriage, sure, absolutely.
What I mean by that is, I feel like we were. You kind of had to categorize stuff, you know, like by stages.
Absolutely.
I feel like at that stage we were intentional about figuring things out. I feel like we were intentional because we were young.
Yeah.
We were young. It wasn't like that we had already lived a whole bunch of life. Like, now we got some life experience behind us. So the intentionality of us at that point was, all right, we want our life to mean something. We want to become more, and we want to do these things. We got to try some stuff. And we started trying things and supporting each other through our trying. So that's more so what I mean, because it's one thing to say that we were intentional and purpose driven and chasing all of these big things or whatever. When we weren't, like, it wasn't that big back then or whatever, but we knew it was like, man, like, I don't want to just do nothing regular.
Yeah.
And we ain't never been like that.
Yeah.
It's just that what we would call big or like grandiose or whatever at the time is just completely different.
Of course.
And so it's like, when I look back at that, it's interesting to see that even when we were just literally throwing shit at the wall, we were supportive of one another.
Yes.
We were trying stuff. And that still made that era of our life purposeful, because I was chasing something and I had to find these ways to include my wife, to make sure that she was a part of this journey, to make sure that you knew what I had going on and what I was battling with and overcoming these obstacles and all of this stuff. And then as you were pursuing things, you had me included in your process. And so we were learning how to develop our teamwork in a way to where we could pursue things and still make sure that our marriage was a priority and that we were thinking about each other. Absolutely. And all of that stuff. And so we were really setting a foundation of skill sets that we would need later on in life, like where we are now. It's just we didn't have the context. Like, now we can look back at some of those things and be like, man, you know what? We didn't know it back then,
but
we was on to something.
No, I always tell you that. I'm like, I don't know. It had to be God, because a lot of the things that we've done in our marriage and whatnot, I'm like, bro, like, how did we know to do certain things? Like, intuitively? Like, how did we just know? Like, when you've never seen something, you throwing stuff at the wall, but you're like, no, there's a reason why we're doing this, though. Like, it's just something there, and it's like pulling you to do a certain thing. I'm like, the way things worked out for us is just like wow to me.
Yeah. And I honestly believe the fact that we wanted our marriage to be something, and we wanted to be something together and individually. I feel like that kind of kept us in check.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I feel like having that in and of itself is what made us so watchful of the things that we did.
Yeah.
And how we treated each other and how we would address certain conversations or address catering to each other's needs and all of those things. And then also having the context of knowing what we didn't want our marriage to be, because especially back then, we had a way bigger circle of people who we were around.
Yeah.
And even though none of that was like what we had or what we wanted to have, it also told us a lot of what we didn't want to have and how we weren't going to be in our marriage.
Yeah.
And so we were able to use a lot of that also. And so we didn't know, but we had so many different things that I feel like kept us in line and kept us, like on this path of just growing and becoming more and pursuing these bigger things as we increased our perspective and our exposure and all of those things. And we kind of just grew into us. And I don't know, I guess that's how I see it. And of course, God played a huge role in that. A major role in that, because man, the stuff that we've been through together, Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? It's like we done been through so many different crazy ass things, like, but we've allowed.
And it's not even like when we say crazy things, it's not even our marriage that has been the crazy thing.
It's been life.
It's life.
Yeah.
We've been through some crazy life situations, and our marriage has been so strong, so unwavering, so unshakable, to where it managed to withstand
all of it. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the way that we prioritized each other through all of that and just allowed ourselves to grow together.
Yes.
And to just be there for one another. Yes. And we never allowed each other to be looked at as each other's enemy. Like, we supported each other, listened to each other. We did all of these things knowing that we had us.
And a part of the growing together was being okay with each other making mistakes.
Literally.
Like, if you want to try something and it doesn't work out, it's okay. Like, try something else.
We got more life to live.
We got more life to live. Like, being okay with people making mistakes. Like okay, for example, like, we got married at 21. You knew how to be a leader in the army, but did you know how to lead a family?
Of course not.
No. So I had to be like, okay, this is the moment for my husband to learn how to lead his family. Is he going to always be perfect? No. Why would I even expect that? So let him make mistakes along the way and be okay with growing through this with him and learning with him and learning how to support you as your wife while you make mistakes. And I'll make mistakes too, and we'll grow and we'll talk about it and we'll build on it and we'll learn our lessons.
Absolutely.
Like, that's really what it is. Like, I think so many people get married and they expect everything to just be like, I don't know, like copacetic. Like, it's just supposed to like flow. It's supposed to work out. And it's like, no, you still have to be okay with growing with each other, which means making mistakes, failing at things, having challenges. But it also teaches you how to function together through life situations.
Because life is chaotic.
Life is chaotic.
Literally. And you have to learn how to be able to support each other through those chaotic moments.
Yes.
Without it breaking you.
Yes.
And I think it makes it so much easier to do that when you're chasing something together. And again, it don't have to be something life-changing or world-changing. It could literally just be like what our marriage started out as. I just knew that you made me want to be a better person. And that was enough. That was purposeful enough for me.
Right.
That was it.
Yeah.
What that better version of me would ultimately become, I don't know. I don't know, but I knew that whatever I was going to be going after, chasing in life, I was going to be great at whatever that was, or I was going to give it my all just because of who I had in my life and who I was doing life with.
Right.
That was enough.
Right.
And then as we created the path of what we wanted to go down and started figuring things out and trying stuff, the world started to open itself up to us as we got more clarity in doing things. Like even now, like, bro, we been together almost 11 years at this point, and it feels like we're just now getting clarity on what we really want life to be like.
Right.
And we 32 now. Like, and it's like, bro, we just got it.
Yeah.
We just got it.
Like it really
years
clicked.
in.
Like it's really clicking
It's
now.
like, okay, this is the life mission. Almost 11 years in, and it took us that long to figure it out.
Because we made a lot of mistakes along the way.
And we tried a lot of stuff.
We failed a lot. We tried a lot of different things to even get to this point.
Yeah, and we became so many different versions of each other.
Yes.
And we also figured out a lot about what actually mattered to us, what our standards and our values were, and the things that we wanted to talk about and share, and what actually meant a lot to us, so that way we could say, you know what? This is a mission worth dedicating our lives to together. Yes. And that's what we're in the pursuit of now. And we get to do that. And now it's like we've made our vision together so big. It's like, we'll be chasing this for life and being excited about it.
Yes.
It's like we don't know what it's ultimately going to become, but it's big enough to where we can chase this thing down for life and just see how much we expand in the pursuit of it. And now I have something that you can hold me accountable to for life.
Yes.
I have something that I can hold you accountable to for life.
Yeah.
And now we have something where it say like, hey, you know what? This is what we've dedicated our life to. Now let's focus on who we're becoming in the process and making sure that we are becoming people that we can be proud of individually and together. And that's dope.
It is.
And that just allows us to have a marriage to where it can never get dull, because we have to keep growing and evolving and developing and becoming these new people, learning to love new versions of us, supporting each other. We gave ourselves literally like a lifelong mission that we get to be excited about and do together. And I feel like, what else is life about? What else is marriage about? You know what I mean? Other than doing life with somebody who literally makes you want to be better and be the best version of yourself, and who you can serve lovingly and selflessly for life. That's where I'm at with it.
I see. I like it. I feel it. I feel it.
Yeah, and I want other people to think about it that way. You know, like, marriage has to be purposeful. You get to determine what that is, how big it is, how expansive it is, and all of that stuff. But there has to be some reason why two people decide to do life together, knowing and understanding how long life is.
Man, listen, you said a bar yesterday. Was it yesterday? I don't know what day it was. You said a bar when we were on our walk the other day, and you said a lot of married couples don't have meaningful marriages. They're just conveniently together.
Yep.
I was like, boy, what you said?
Yeah, believe it or not, a lot of married couples aren't meaningfully married. They're just conveniently together.
I was like, boy, that is real. People are married, but are roommates. Like, what? Like, I could go down the list, but I'm like when you said that, I'm like, that's so real, because a lot of people don't even understand the meaning of marriage. It's been so watered down, especially I feel like for our society and for our generation, it's just been watered down to, oh, it's just a piece of paper. Okay. If you look at it like that, then sure, it will be. I don't know. It's just, when you said that, I was like, dang, I didn't even think about it like that. But it was like, yes, that's exactly what it is.
When you think about it, a lot of people can be married and be married for so long to where it's literally just beneficial being together because so much of your lives have become intertwined. And it would be way more complicated to unravel and untwist all of that than to just leave it be.
Right.
And that's where the complacency sets in.
Got it.
People are so, the finances are mixed. They got the kids. They got, household and life stuff. Their friends are each other's friends. So much of their lives are intertwined to where now it's like, this is familiar. This is comfortable. It's what I'm used to. And they just stay in that complacent state rather than saying, I want to make this something amazing. And I want this to be something that excites me and fires me up and that pushes me to do more. And they don't know how to do that, I would guess.
Yeah, kind of like challenge that complacency. Like if our marriage is complacent, it's because the two people are complacent.
Yes.
So what do we need to do to fix that? It's like, okay, if you're not complacent, it's not that you don't know how to not challenge complacency, because people, they pursue like fitness, they pursue promotions in their job. Like it's the same with marriage. It's like you've done it in so many other areas. You can do it in your marriage too. But it takes being able to notice that it's a problem for one, and also sitting down together and being able to have a conversation about it and not getting offended. Yeah. Because that, like, it might not be an easy conversation to have, but if all you having is easy conversations in your marriage, then that's a problem too. Depth. There's a problem. Yeah. So yeah.
Because when you do something like that, you have to say, like, where are we going? What do we actually want? Like, what do we actually want our marriage to become? Where is it that we're going together? And that can be a very hard question to answer, especially when you got two people who might love their careers and what they do. Maybe. That's a long shot of a statement, but maybe that's the case. Okay. And they got kids and they got a lot of responsibilities and all of these things. And now you're trying to throw this on top of it, which it should have been the foundational part of it anyway, to where now it's not being thrown on top, because now it's like you're trying to unravel everything else and then bring the marriage into it, when it should have been, this is what the marriage is and everything else, gets to be added into that. But in realizing that, like, it can be so complicated, because now it's like having to hit the reset button. You got to figure out a new direction, and you got to figure out how to categorize all of the other things that you have going on in life too. So it's like, all right, you got the husband, you got the wife, and they got all of these things that they got going on. And now you just said that you guys want to prioritize your marriage and you want to put it back on a pedestal and reconnect or whatever. Now you're going to have to individually jump into each other's lives and be like, all right, some stuff got to get set aside, because now we have to make this thing a priority. And now it's like, all right, what are we willing to sacrifice or get rid of in this time period of building us back up and being okay with that? Because sometimes people can get so busy in their own individual aspects of life that now when you bring the marriage back into it and your spouse back into it, it seems like a hindrance. And that's when stuff really gets mucky, because now it's like, all right, I'm getting rid of myself and my other identity and all of these things. And so you have to do something before it gets to that place. And that's why I'm so glad that we've been so on purpose about including each other in everything, but also being able to maintain our own individuality as well. Absolutely. But knowing that our life is the basis, our marriage and what we've built together is the basis of everything, and nothing gets placed like above that. Nothing. Other than, like our faith and what we have together.
Of course, God. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
But nothing else reigns supreme over those things. Our faith and our marriage and our connectedness. And everything else gets to benefit from what we have together. Absolutely. And who we are together and individually, but we are maintaining our connectedness in all things.
Absolutely.
And we don't allow that space to be created. No way I'm letting anything else creep into our marriage or into my life that causes space between us. Not doing that. And I think a lot of people just catch, if they catch it at all, they catch it too late. But it's something that you can do. You just have to be willing to make those adjustments. And we say sacrifice, but of course sacrifice is just giving up something of a lesser value in place of something of a higher value. Because when you start to define words, it makes doing what the words mean easier.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we could be talking about stuff and having two totally different conversations because two people define the words that they use them very differently.
Right.
So, but yes, the main point, marriage needs to be purposeful. That is the point.
Yes. I like it. This was good.
Yeah. I enjoyed it though.
Me too.
Any closing thoughts, my love?
No, that was it. That was good.
That's where we at with it. We hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Because I definitely enjoyed the conversation.
Me too.
And until next time, I said the video, man, we got people who listen to this and all that good stuff too. But anyway, y'all know what it is, man. We hope y'all enjoyed this episode. We hope y'all enjoyed spending this time with us. We thank you. We appreciate you. And until next time, my name is John Trone. This is my beautiful queen.
Adoria.
We are one dope couple. And until next time, family, peace and love.